What's going on, everyone? RaMTEID here, and for today I have some No Man's Sky for you guys. I just want to go over some of my initial thoughts, impressions on this game, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Now, this is going to be mostly for the PC version and not the PlayStation 4 version. However, there will be overlaps, as there are between the two games. And for you Xbox guys, you may want to stick around for this as well, because I have heard speculation that they may be trying to come out with this game for the Xbox. I'll touch on the pros before I touch on the cons. However, there are going to be a lot more cons than pros for this particular game. Starting off, I think that the base game, the idea there was phenomenal. You could really build off of this, and I think going on further, other game developers will really catch on to this and say, hey, I think we can build off of that type of idea and really create some fantastic games centered around procedural generation. One of the pros for me was the exploration. That's what this game was about for the most part. Being able to go from planet to planet, that's super cool concept. It was really interesting to be able to do that in-game. Seeing the different topographies of the planet, along with the different life forms, if there were any at all. And just being able to take the discoveries that you've made and upload them, along with giving them a unique name if you choose to do so. That's something that I was really hooked on, even later on stages of the game that I've played now. Other than that, there's only really one pro, maybe two, but I'll get to those later on the video. I want to hit the negatives right now because there's a lot of them, and I just want to touch on some of the ones I've run into, along with mentioning a few others. Now, for instance, the frame rate issue, which is one of the reasons that I did not do this commentary sooner. I wanted to wait until they released an update to see if it would alleviate the frame rate problems. And as you can see here, it's pretty jittery. That's after the update. It was far worse before the update, and it was far more common, but it still happens now. So that's still a problem, the frame rate issues. There's people with way better PCs than I have, and they're still having these issues as well. So that is a major concern still, on top of a few of the other things when it comes to like the mouse sensitivity and the key bindings. When it comes to the mouse sensitivity, what I'm talking about is that the adjustments were not very good at all, right? So what happened was my mouse sensitivity seemed way too high, so I went to adjust it and I played around with it, and it just did not seem that noticeable to me, the differences that it was making. And I turned it all the way down at one point, and the sensitivity was still far too high. What I ended up doing was actually just turning my DPI down on my mouse, which is ridiculous because that shouldn't even have to be a problem. It should just be you adjust the sensitivity to what you like based off the DPI that you're playing. I don't have my mouse at like a 5000 DPI. It was set at 800, and that was still way too much. And I had to turn it down to 300, and even then it was kind of too much. So that's a problem as well that I don't think this game should have, and it's really just a part of a bigger problem when it comes to this game. Now, when it comes to the key bindings, you can actually change some of the key bindings. However, you cannot change very many at all. You can only change the most basic ones, which I'll show you here. These are the ones you can change. You can change some for the ground and some for flying. But I was having issues with not being able to discard items out of my inventory. Now, the game does show a button for discarding items with the mouse, and it's some button in between the left and right click, which, I don't know, I presumed was the mouse wheel click, but that didn't do anything either. I went in and changed mine back from a key that I had binded to it to the actual click, and it still didn't do anything. So I don't know how to discard anything. The only reason I was able to is because I happen to have a controller plugged into my computer. So without the controller, I wouldn't have been able to just discard items out of my inventory when I wanted to. So that's a major issue as well, and it's really just indicative of the greater problems that this game has. And then on top of that, starting off in the game, it didn't really tell me a whole lot, so I was lost for a while. I did figure it out eventually, but it would have been helpful if I could have had some sort of basic tutorial to help me out to learn some of the more basic functions within the game that I would be doing constantly throughout. And then on top of that, all of the broken promises. They talked about having affiliations. There aren't any. They talked about how the planets would move. They don't. They don't go around the star that they're there by. They don't rotate. They're just stationary. So that's asinine to me. They talked about how life and everything would get stranger the further you got to the center, and everything I've seen, it doesn't. There's a lot of creatures and such in the game that they have shown, and that's not there. You know, it's just things like that. Like, they showed gameplay footage of some of these features, and it's not in the game now, which means that they had it in the game at one point, I would think. So why it's not in the game now, I don't know. Maybe they have the sly idea to release it as, you know, paid DLC, even though the very first day the game came out, they claimed there wouldn't be paid DLC. Then a week later, they talked about, no, well, we may have to charge. Well, you gave us a half-ass game, and now you want us to pay more for it. I don't know. It's really frustrating and quite annoying. Now, besides that, this game does have a lot of potential, or at least the idea does. Whether or not, like, Hello Games will be able to do anything with this game, I'm not sure. That's a different question. I think the modders definitely will be able to. And when it comes to modding, Hello Games has said that they would like to allow modders to do things, but they would rather them wait until they could release official development tools. But who knows if that'll happen or if it'll be worth waiting for. I do think that the mods could potentially change this game around and make it enjoyable and or at least close to what it could have been. So I look forward to that. When it comes to Hello Games, maybe they'll be able to add to that. I don't know. Really, right now, I doubt it. So when it comes to the future of this game, at least for me, I plan on paying attention to the modding community and seeing what happens there, because if they can really adjust some things, then it may be worth playing after that and buying. As of right now, if you're planning on buying this game, I don't recommend it. I say absolutely not. It's definitely not worth $60 at all. Not even close to it. It's barely worth $30. If you can catch this game on sale for $20 or less, by all means go for it if you think you would enjoy it some. It's worth 15 to 20 bucks the way it sits, but barely worth that much. Like I said though, my faith is in the modding community, if anything at all. If they're able to do something, it'll really get me back into this game. If there's a lot of mods that add a lot to this game that was supposed to be here, that'll get me back into the game. And if it does, I'll be sure to give you guys an update on that. But other than that, I really don't want to play this game anymore. I doubt I will. If I do, it'll only be for short periods of time here and there. I probably won't do any more videos on it. I may do some videos talking about some of the things that are going on with the game. But really, as of right now, there's no point in even playing this game. It was a complete waste of $60. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend buying it to anyone. And the sales they've showed have dropped by like 81% for the second week. So, you know, yeah, it's more, instead of Hello Games, they should just change their name to Broken Promises Gaming, because that's basically what they gave us. I have absolutely no faith in Hello Games at all. I don't know what other games they have made or what they plan on making, but if I see Hello Games, I'm staying away from that game because of the crapshoot they gave us with this. Anyways, this commentary ran on far longer than I thought it would. Appreciate you guys sticking around and watching the video. As always, have a wonderful day. RaMTEID out.